The Volkswagen Jetta is one of Volkswagen's most successful vehicles in its portfolio. Originally introduced in 1979, this vehicle has sold more than 10 million units its entire production run. And what we have here today is the 7th generation Volkswagen Jetta. Originally introduced in 2018 for a 2019 model year, this new car features complete restyling of the exterior as well as a brand new interior as well, and quite a lot of nice features as well. So let's jump right into it. The Volkswagen Jetta is powered by either a 1.4-liter or a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. The 1.4-liter engine produces 147 horsepower with 184 pound-feet of torque. This translates to fuel economy of 30 miles per gallon in the city, 40 on the highway, and a combined rating of 34. You have the option of either a 6-speed standard manual transmission or an 8-speed automatic. The Jetta GLI is powered by the 2-liter engine and boasts 228 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. This Jetta can be had with either the 6-speed manual or the 7-speed DSG direct shift gearbox. Essentially, it's the same powertrain from the Volkswagen Golf GTI. Volkswagen did an excellent job with the exterior styling of this vehicle in the sense that it gives off coupe vibes and at the same time it's elegant yet athletic. Additionally, the vehicle has grown in every dimension comparative to its 6th generation predecessor, but at the same time it still weighs less than 3,000 pounds, which means the 4-cylinder engine up front has less work to do, and also it helps you in the sense that you'll have less stops at the fuel pump. The interior of the 7th generation Volkswagen Jetta is also more accommodating than the last one. Trunk space is 14.1 cubic feet. Up here, where the driver sits, the cockpit is oriented towards the driver, so you have this large LCD screen here in the center for the SCL and the SCL premium trims. But then you also have this beautiful center stack here with a large infotainment screen, and you have your climate control switches right here by the gear selector. You have your air vents right between the media center and the climate control center stack. So I think that this is very well executed, very well thought out. I love the placement of all 3 of these pieces here in the center. And overall, the seats do a pretty good job at holding you in. Now, I haven't gotten this car on the road yet, but they do seem to have a pretty decent bolstering, even though these aren't really anything sporty, anything too crazy. Now, the dashboard here is made out of a nice synthetic material, so it's not going to crack over time and look hideous. The door panels here, at least in the front, have this nice soft touch material. In the rear, they're a hard plastic, but overall, it's pretty well thought out. Now, granted, it's still a Volkswagen Jetta. If you want more premium, you have to step up to Audi. However, for what this car is, I think that Volkswagen has executed pretty well. The buttons here for your climate control are also pretty intuitive and easy to use. I love the tactile feel that these buttons here have and these dials have. The SCL Premium also features heated and ventilated front seats, which is nice. And on top of that, if you opt for the cold weather package, you'll also get a heated steering wheel, a heated windshield as well for your wipers, and on top of that, you'll even get heated rear seats as well. So it'll make your rear passengers pretty toasty as well in the wintertime. You do have a space here underneath the climate control. It's a pretty large space, so you can rest a large phone, or you can rest a wallet or something loose that you might have that you need to access quickly. A bit of complaint here that I have to bring up is around the gear selector, the gear shifter, you have all these blank switch panel covers, switch button covers here. I don't really like seeing these blank switches in cars. This is obviously where additional options would be if this was a European market car or anything else like that, but you have 8 cutouts here for buttons, and there's only 3 buttons, so this is not really that visually appealing. Additionally, as far as interior goes, I like how Volkswagen incorporated a USB outlet here so you can charge a device right here below the climate control center stack here. On top of that, you have a 12-volt power outlet just a few inches away, so that's also convenient. But additionally, if you pop open the center storage in the center console, you have another USB outlet as well, so that way you can give your rear passengers the ability to charge as well. Granted, it's not the most ergonomic solution, but at least you still have 3 power outlets as well. pop open the glove box and you have 2 SD card slot readers, and you still have a CD player as well. So that's also pretty interesting to see. I absolutely love this digital gauge cluster that you have here in the center. It's highly customizable. You can toggle between all kinds of information such as your audio, your navigation, telephone, driving data. You can choose to change how you want your gauges to appear here on the screen, and even if you want to hide them altogether, so you can get a full screen view of your map, which is nice if you're in an area where you need navigation. Now, initially, I wasn't really a fan of digital gauge clusters. I always was more analog, more old school. However, what Volkswagen did here with this one, this is pretty good. And I think as long as the screen has a high enough resolution and it looks very nice, then I think that this is pretty cool. This is also highly customizable with the sense that you have accent colors here on your gauges as well, which also complements the interior accent lighting that you find under the dashboard here, on the door panels, and even in the center cubby here as well. So that's pretty cool as well. You can customize it to your liking. The 7th generation Volkswagen Jetta also includes Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so you can connect your phone and synchronize it to your car. On top of that, for all you audiophiles, you're gonna love the optional Beats audio system in this car, because you have a 12-channel, 9-speaker, 400-watt stereo system with a subwoofer. So take my word for it, it's a very good system. Alright guys, so first and foremost, you have electric power steering. So this is not a performance car by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a German sedan, so I guess it's got a little bit of sport sedan sprinkled onto it right there. It's sporty a little bit, but you know, don't think that you're going to be flying through corners. However, electric power steering. Now, this is good in the sense that it makes steering easy. You don't need a lot of effort to steer it around. And honestly, for a daily driver, for a car that you're going to use to get you around from point A to point B, I don't see how this could be much of a problem. Now, if you prefer the old school feeling, you like the more mechanical hydraulic steering, then you're probably not going to like this feeling because it's kind of numb. It's not how it used to be. However, I think that you got to consider the fact that a lot of new cars today are coming with electric power steering as the way it's made. So you just got to take it for what it is. And I think Volkswagen does a pretty good job at executing power steering in this car. I drove the Golf with the electric power steering and I liked it. Now what I am driving here is the SEL Premium. So this is pretty much the big cheese Jetta that you can get. It's classy, it's luxurious for what it is. Now again, this car's main competitors are the Toyota Camry, the Honda Accord. If you want more luxury than that, you're pretty much going to have to step up to Audi at this point. But this is a Volkswagen Jetta, so it's more complimentary. It's pretty much a step right before the Audi A4. Now, it's a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, 1.4 liters, so you put your foot down, and yeah, you have 147 horsepower, so you're not going to go flying. But again, this car doesn't weigh that much, less than 3,000 pounds, like I previously said. So you don't need a 500 horsepower engine or 250 horsepower. Although the GLI, if you are feeling sporty, you can get that. Now the Volkswagen Jetta does come in 5 trim levels, and the GLI also comes in 2 trim levels. So you have the GLI S and the GLI Autobahn. The Autobahn is more top of the line trim. But we're not driving the GLI, we just have the standard Jetta, so it's nice to drive. I'm driving through some curvy roads right here, just cruising, minding my own business. The seats, now that I'm finally driving this car through some turns, they do a very good job at holding you. They're not stiff, so your back's not going to get tired or anything like that. The 7th generation Volkswagen Jetta starts at just about $19,000, and when it's fully equipped, you can push $30,000. Now the GLI Autobahn, you're going to reach $33,000, $34,000 with that. But for what we're driving here, a fully loaded SEL Premium, $30,000, that's not bad. Now again, this is going to be on par with the Honda Accord Sport or the Touring.
the Toyota Camry XSC, or I think the TRD is going to be more competitive for the Jetta GLI. Now, as far as the competitors go, the Accord Sport, the Accord Touring, and even the Camry XSC, even the 4-cylinder, you're probably going to get a little more bang for buck with those cars because they are Japanese, so you got that reliability. Now, those cars are still 4-cylinder. The Accord is turbocharged, as is this car, but the Camry is not. The trade-off with this car is you get the German build quality, so a lot of people knock on that and say that's just a myth, but I'm referring to the overall fit and finish. The Volkswagen Jetta is like the German Honda Civic, if you will, except this has grown quite a bit, so it doesn't even feel like a Honda Civic anymore. The brakes on the new Jetta are very good too. They're very, very quick to respond, and I do like it. They're not springy, they're not spongy. You don't have to tap on them all too hard and you immediately feel the braking power, which is great. German cars are pretty known for having excellent brakes and handling. This car requires very little effort to drive, and I do like that because if you're going on a long road trip or if you got a busy day running errands, you don't want to put in a lot of effort driving. You just want to relax. You want to take it easy. And the Jetta allows you to do that. I can just sit back in my seat here, recline it a little bit if I want to, set my stereo to whatever radio station I like, or Spotify or anything like that if I'm going on a road trip. I got great visibility out here. I got blind spot monitoring, which is great. The mirrors are also auto dimming as well, so it's nice, especially at night, because it doesn't fatigue your eyes. And it's overall a very pleasant car to drive. I also do love the large sunroof that the new Jetta has to offer. It's a pretty large one. You just press it at the simple touch of a button, it opens up automatically, and it's nice to have the wind going through your hair. You know, lower the windows, turn the music up a little bit. If you're, you know, cruising, driving to your friend's house, you're going to an event, and you can do it effortlessly in the new Jetta. Alright, so being here on this bypass, so I'm going to go ahead and punch it a bit. There is a little bit of turbo lag, I will say. When you do step on it, it does take a second or so for the turbo to spool up and deliver that power so you can go ahead and overtake. But like I was saying earlier, it's more sports sedan than anything. It's not a performance car. When you put your foot down, it will take a second at wide open throttle for the turbo to kick in and get you going. So just something to remember when you're driving this car. Now, I did drive the Camry XSC, both the 4-cylinder and the 6-cylinder, and the 6-cylinder is going to push like $36,000. The 4-cylinder is still about $31,000, $32,000, somewhere in that range. So not that much more expensive than this car, the SCL Premium. Now, I guess with the Camry XSC, maybe you do get a little more value for money, but with the Jetta, you still get that familiar German feeling where the attention to detail, the ergonomics, you know, soft close, just a lot of stuff in this car is well thought out, and that's one of the main reasons why I like German cars. This car has grown quite a bit. It's a little more curvy, but you don't really feel that here in the interior. Now, maybe in the back seat you do a little bit because you have more legroom, which is great. Now, the Volkswagen Jetta also has driving modes here as well, so you just press this button here by the gear shifter. You have Eco, Normal, Sport, and Custom. Eco pretty much maximizes fuel economy. Sport does the exact opposite. It gives you more sharper throttle response and tighter steering, so it feels like you're driving more of a GTI. When you drive this car, I imagine you are looking for the more sensible option, but at the same time, you want a little sportiness as well, so it's nice to have that there. Alright guys, so I hope that you enjoyed this review on the 7th generation Volkswagen Jetta. I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did filming it. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Comment, rate, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon. Go ahead and turn on notifications. Check me out on Instagram at Garage Denali. Thank you very much and take care.